Welcome back, Hand Act and Satchel viewers. Today we're going to be doing another, whatever that demonstrates, fishing video. In this video we're going to be talking about how to rig up these little guys, the worms, and how it's supposed to be done and what you could be doing wrong. So you just ask your friend, you tell your friend, hey, before you go bass fishing and before you go to the pond, hey, rig up a worm with a moving weight on top of it and put the worm on a hook. He comes back with this, a pretty heavy hook, 6-pound line, a treble hook with the flimsiest little worm in existence. That is about as far off as you could possibly get from what you're supposed to do, so let's dive right into the correct solution. Let's just get this thing out of here. Well, I don't know where to throw it. You can't throw it on the floor. Don't put barbed hooks on the floor, especially treble barbed hooks. For starters, you're going to be starting off with this more worm-typey hook. And I know that's not correct terminology, but what is correct terminology is right here, wait for it, where you will be finding this type of thing. That, zoom in real close on that on your screen, are Eagle Claw bass hooks. Don't purchase from them, especially not this little pack. Actually, I don't know. Purchase from them, they're pretty good, but don't get the bass hook assortment pack, because they all came rather bent, might I just say. But either way, we'll be using these because if you can't do it with not the best product, then you shouldn't be able to then you can't do it at all. That's what I always like to say. Actually, I've never said that before in my life, but let's just dive right in. So we have this. We're just gonna straighten out the hook. That's something your friend probably also needs to learn too. Get the hook nice and straight so when you set the hook, it sets it well. So well you can pull your pliers out of your hand. Next, once you have that, if you're going to be using a weight like this, first of all, you're in pretty much any lake ever, you're not going to need a weight this big. That's almost always going to be complete and utter overkill. Never necessary ever. Instead, what you could use is a split shot. A big split shot like this. A couple smaller ones over here. But what you're most likely going to want to use is not a split shot at all. It's actually a sliding weight. Now, if you will just take a closer peek at this line. For any line, just for reference, for any weight that's this big, in comparison to my hand, there you go, you're going to be wanting using much heavier line. That line that I had on the first rig, that your friend had right there, was actually, it's 6-pound line. Never use that for weight. You'll most likely end up snapping the line before you even cast it. Instead, you're going to need something at least, I'd say, 15 to 20 pounds line for something this big. This right here that I have right here is what I would personally use if I was going to be using that sort of rig. This is 50-pound braid, as I will demonstrate. Here's the box. If you want to go grab some spider wire 50-pound braid, this is the Stealth. But that's definitely what you're going to need rather than the other stuff. So we can just tie up this 50-pound braid onto this because we're still going to want it on here. Mind you, I am no expert. I don't claim to be an expert on hook tying, but you can do it like so. Just tying a hook. I normally just do 3. I know there's correct ways to do it so that you don't lose fish, but I never lose fish because of the knots anyway. Most of the time, I just got this 50-pound braided line, so most of the time it's because of the line. So now that that's established, let me just cut off this excess. You don't want to have a whole lot of extra line on there. Yes, and once you get to really heavy line, it becomes a lot harder to cut it. There. But anyway, now we've got less excess line. Still, these, another thing I would not recommend. Oh, it's still got that hook on it. Let me grab another one that doesn't have a hook on it. These are impulse worms. I would not recommend them either because they are super flimsy and don't have any real thing. Also, I'm not sure even how to hook these, but if you did, you'd be hooking it slightly around. Now, there are multiple ways. The ones I like better are these yum worms. These are pretty good. As you can see, they have a much nicer shape. They actually come, you can see, kind of see the gloss. I'm going to try and zoom in on that. There. They're pretty glossy and have like some sort of oil on them. And these I like better. And they have a good shape as they wiggle across in the water. If you haven't seen how they actually look in the water, go check out my What Lures Look in Real Life video. Also, so there's a couple ways to hook a worm. So there's also, I'm going to be showing you a weightless rig. I've actually caught quite a few fish on weightless worms. What you do is when I did it that way and caught those bass, I sort of just slipped it on over here, keeping the hook, as you can see. I'm trying this. So pulling it across and making sure that every bit is still in the hook. Normally I use bigger hooks, but not for this video. So you just kind of keep it going like that. And I'll show you in a second the way most people would normally do it. There. And then I like to, as you can see, just a little bit before it gets to the end, pull this down like that, so that you have that hook nice there and exposed, and then you can push this rest of it to the front. Make sure to do it before you're at the end, otherwise it won't have anywhere to go. But like this, you get a good worm shape. The other way that I've seen people do it, let's see if I can still do it on the same worm. I might be able to slip it off. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Wait. Hand axe and satchel, subscribe. And check out other videos. I did it. Oh my gosh, subscribe just for that. That was incredible. Getting off of a hook like this with that. Wow. Alright, the other way to do it would be to, I've seen people, a lot of pros actually, there you go, and they hook it up through the front. And then what they'll do is they'll get it just a little bit, just around that little curve right there. A little bit more probably. And then, yep, they'll then have it go like this, same kind of ordeal, but what they'll then do is twist it around a little bit. No, I did too far, my bad. Come on. Yeah, they'll take it like this, so that there's enough, and then they'll twist it around and hook it right through there, kinda like that. Then the worm will go like that, and when the fish bites it, the hook will come out right there, and then you can probably, yep, it is. So those are two ways to do it with that. Normally, I would be using, on my actual main rig that I've got going right now, I have it set up like this, but with a sliding weight. They're like, most people use bullet weights. The bullet weights which will come up and down. Not particularly sure what the purpose for that is, but you know it works. Also, other note, I've seen in the winter, people will use something like this little short one. I actually just found this fishing. Always clean up the environment while you fish. But they'll use this little guy, just fish it on the hook. Well, where else would you fish it? Something like that-ish, and the fish will actually still be enticed to go and annihilate it. So anything you can set a hook on, really, but in my experience, I'd recommend using those types of hooks. Other types of hooks, like, for example, barbed wire hooks and those types, I found don't really work as well. Another type of hook you're not really going to want to use is going to be this little, that's just a pretty big one, a bait holder hook. That's not going to be the best because they don't get that same type of hook. It's meant for more if you've got like another fish that it could really hook like that. Behind the dorsal fin and stuff like that. And then also, I don't normally see people using these little weights. This is actually a series of like melted together weight that I've found. A lot of this stuff can be found as you're fishing, so keep your eyes open and clean up the environment. You never know what you might find. Also, these will work, I'm pretty sure. These little longer style hooks. They'll work, but they're not going to be quite as effective because of the way that you'd have to rig them. As you can see, they're still there, but most bass will probably not be able to even, probably not actually going to hook the bass because bass are relatively large fish, and due to their name, largemouth, they have pretty big mouths, so that little hook is probably not going to be the absolute best for what you're doing, but it could still work. Now, probably the best thing ever, and especially for these hooks, what you're actually going to want to use rather than these plastic worms, you're going to want to use real worms. I don't know. I don't have a demonstration of a real worm right now, but that's what you're going to use. For trout, and I know, yeah, I'm giving you extra info. For trout, what's typically best is you can use a couple of these little rubber ball things, and you put it on a hook like this. You add a couple of snapshots, and then a bit farther down, you put, or up actually, you put, oh, I've got a whole little trout rig right head up. Not YouTube at all. But you can, with a bobber, snapshot, and then a lot of times you can just add these little rubbery things. Terminology, right? Rubbery things. You just add those on to the hook. I'll show you, I'll demonstrate that because I'm sure you have no idea what that might look like. but I'll do it anyway. You can just add these on, and then one of the most important things is power bait. That works really well, but you can put that on. But as you can see, pretty neat little offering to give them. And let's see, did I have anything else? Nothing else for you guys today. Come back soon, probably tomorrow actually, to find my next fishing video. And subscribe if you want to see more from this channel, and give it a like if you want to see this video and more videos like it. Have a great day. Hand Axe and Satchel signing. That was my hand motion for signing. Hand Axe and Satchel signing off.